Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the GCUC Podcast. My name is Liz Elam. I'm the founder of GCUC, the Global Coworking Unconference Conference. And if you've been in this industry for more than 5 minutes, you know I love a good origin story. So today's guest is one that starts in Utrecht, Netherlands in 2008, which for context is before most of you have ever even heard about the word coworking. Paul Keursten went on to relocate his co-working space from the Netherlands to South Africa, where he co-founded Workshop17 to nearly sell it to WeWork for R1 billion right before COVID hit, and then build it into a 16 location operation that is now playing a continental game across Africa. I've been wanting to get Paul on the show for a while, and I'm so excited to have him here also because he's helping us bring Juicy to Africa, which we are so excited about. With Antoinette and Paul's help, Juicy's going to Africa for the first time this September. So buckle up. This is going to be a great podcast. Welcome, Paul. It's so great to see you. How are you?
I'm good, Liz. It's great to see you, and it's wonderful to be on your podcast. And I'm enjoying the initiative that you took and bringing a co-working together.
Yeah, I'm so excited to have you here. So one of the things in my life that I believe is that my morning routine is very important. How I start my day. I always get up a little early. I drink coffee, I pray, I meditate, and I get good with the day before it starts. So I always like to ask other people what their morning routine is like.
Hmm. Yeah, I have a fixed morning routine, at least 6 mornings in a week. I get up at about 6 o'clock in the morning usually, and by 6:30 I go out for my morning run, which
Mm,
is not too long. It's like a 4K run, usually in the weekend, sometimes a bit longer. And in my morning run, I listen to podcasts. I used to take up my AirPods and I listen to podcasts every morning, and it does a few things for me. It gets all my systems going early morning. It gets inspiration up. Sometimes I hear something and I take it away in my thought, and then I rejoin the podcast again. So it's running. It's physical, but it's almost meditative, and it's also inspiring. So it's for me a very important start of the day. Um, every morning, it's cold or it's hot or it's raining or not. I'll do it, and I need
good
it.
for
It's my
you. That's awesome.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's so good. I have to walk every day because I have dogs, which you may be hearing in the background because they're trying to murder each other right now. But,
Mm.
yeah, very important. Now I have to ask, what's your favorite podcast?
Thought it would be coming. There's a few I listen to, and one that many of you will know. It's the Diary of a CEO. I like his way of podcasting, and
Mhm.
what I do is I listen to that. I listen to the one of Brongan Chatterley, which is Feel Better, Live More, which is all about
Mm.
health and how you take care of your
Mhm.
health. And
Mhm.
as a semi-South African, I also listen to Trevor Noah's podcast, What Now, quite often.
Yeah.
It's lighter, but it's also sometimes very, very thoughtful and thought-provoking. Um,
Mhm.
and I listen to whatever comes up. And one of the things that happened when TV got to the background and we all use Netflix and YouTube, um, we always choose what we listen to and what we see, what we
Mm.
watch. And I'll let the podcast download automatically, and I listen to what comes for. So I let myself be surprised by what I hear, and
Mm.
sometimes I hear stuff that I wouldn't choose, but in the end, I'm happy to have listened to because it gave me some new insight, or it introduced me to a topic that I otherwise wouldn't have chosen. So I do that deliberately to broaden my scope and not only focus on what I think I'm interested in, but also let it wander. And doing it while running is actually an ideal situation to do that. And
I love
so
that idea.
yeah, that's it.
That's awesome. We actually this year at Juicy for a lot of years at Juicy, we were always, as I always say it is, we were talking to us about us. And this year I bought in a lot of what I call adjacent speakers. So it's people who weren't
Mhm.
necessarily in co-working or had anything to do with co-working, just to inspire people and get people thinking differently.
Yes.
And it worked really, really well.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think I
So I
like
love
that.
that.
I like that you do that. I think usually the fresh ideas come from a perspective that was not connected to what you were in. And
Mhm.
it is what you need. It's what innovation needs. It's what brings things around. And I think it's why co-working existed. So if you
Mm.
think of office classically as a space, a cubicle or a little space with a door, then community doesn't even feature in your thinking. So
Mhm.
when community entered the work, thinking about workspace, co-working could become a thing.
I love it. I love it. Okay, so you were running a co-working space in 2008 before most people had ever even heard the word co-working. What did you see back then that was like, "Oh, this is the future of work?"
Well, I was partner in a consulting firm, which is Kesson Smith, the learning company, um, which we were running for quite some time, um, since '96, and we always had an office that became a meeting place and not a sea of desks, and not a row of offices with doors. As a consultant, you're always around and you're always moving around. And we created a company that was more community. We had at the end about 50 people, but we didn't have any management. It was a community,
Mm,
and that community needed a space to come together and not a space where the partners sit in corner offices and the secretary sit in front, but a space that looks like a home for us. So that's what we
mhm.
created. We had people at that point in time. We gave all our new staff a work from home allowance so that they could buy a nice desk. We gave them a laptop. We gave them a mobile phone, which was a little bit bigger than nowadays, the mobile phones. You could call with it. And we gave them a fax machine, which maybe some people don't even
Uh-huh.
know anymore what that is. But it was really about already a different way of working. So the basic principle is that the way we work has changed, and you don't have to sit near a machine or near a production factory to do the knowledge work that many of us are doing. Why do
Mhm.
workspaces then still look the same as they've done 40, 50 years ago? And no one wants to come to the office and sit in a cubicle. No one gets excited. I love my cubicle because it has such nice ones. So it's offices were still something as a factory. There was actually modeled like a factory, and if you walked in, it was all shades of gray and beige. And we said, well, office should actually look like a home. So I set out to create an office space for ourselves with an Italian style cafe as the front,
Mm,
um,
mhm.
which is a meeting place with a coffee machine that's not a button coffee coming out or um, like instant coffee, but with a proper cafe machine. At that point in time, this was this was way before 2008, just for ourselves, and it was a meeting space. So we also decided to put furniture in that doesn't look like office furniture, which was quite hard at
Mm,
that point in time because now there's lots of
mhm.
different things in the past 20 years that came along. At that point in time, you couldn't really find a comfortable chair to work that doesn't look like an office chair. But we managed, and what we found is that lots of clients love to come and stayed at our office to work. And that underpinned the idea that people are longing for a different place to work. And a lot of things happen, not in the formal meetings, but they happen at that in that cafe. So we wouldn't have a barista. All our staff learned to make coffee, and we would be the barista for our guests ourselves.
Mm,
And the conversation
I love that.
starts there.
Mhm.
So the importance of informal conversations, the importance of unplanned meetings, the importance of
Mhm.
feeling comfortable so you feel easy to share as a person and not playing a role or behind your facade or behind your function or being functional. That's where the magic happened. And that sparked the
Mhm.
idea when we could buy the building that we were in, saying, I don't want to become a landlord and rent spaces out. And actually, it shouldn't be that an office is your square meters. What if the whole office is yours, and you can just choose wherever you want to be in the whole building?
Mhm.
And we
Mhm.
don't divide the use of space in square meters, but in time. So it's about access of time. And the one day you want to sit at the top of the building because it's quiet, and the other day you want to sit at the bottom because it's lively and people come along and you have your inspiration and your checkups. So that's that was the whole thinking about it shouldn't be an ugly office space. It should be a beautiful space. It should feel like home. It shouldn't. It should make unplanned meetings and exchanges that actually spark a new idea or new possibility possible. It should make you feel alive. it should be beautiful because no one should work in an ugly place. Everyone deserves a
Mhm.
beautiful place to work in. And you should feel human, because if you're just human and not your function or your position or the junior or the senior or the boss or the startup, um, then everyone is the same. You create a level playing field where people feel comfortable enough to share their questions or to share their doubts or to share
Mhm.
some home, and to get inspired and feel connected. And that's where the whole idea started. I didn't think about co-working. That term didn't really, as you said, the term didn't really feature at that point in time. I just want to create such an
Yeah.
environment where people love to come, and work is such an important part of our life. Let's have a pleasant
Yeah.
environment, feel really alive in.
I love it. And now you moved in 2012 to South Africa and you started a new business, Workshop17, and now that has over 4,500 members, over 250 businesses call that home. I think you have 16 locations and more on the way. So how did you go from one location to over 16 in the works?
Yeah, it's um, it's an overnight success that's 14 years in the making, but it's that
Exactly.
kind.
Yeah, I just had
It's
my 50th event, and I've been at Juicy since 2012.
yeah, it's been so when we started here in 2012, I've moved here with my family, and I met Mark Zeftel, my co-founder.
Mhm,
And what struck me in South Africa is there's so much interesting things happening, and there's also so much needed. But there is so little places that are not political, where people can come together in the way that we just spoke about. Because you are you,
mhm,
whether you are rich or poor, experienced or startup, black or white, whatever you are, you're there and you meet people because you are you, and because you're ordering a coffee next to each other, and the CEO then starts speaking to someone who's tinkering in augmented reality. So we felt there's a need to create that, and that's where we started here in the city
mhm.
in Johannesburg, very grungy place at the point in time. Um, and Mark and I started and just trying to figure out how does it work here. Um, and we had 1,000 square meter then, so not too big. We put all our money in there. No one here really understood co-working or what it was. And we said, well, we need to put our money where our mouth is, and let's just make it happen, which is um,
Yeah.
which is what we did. And after 2 years we were running, we got a visit from the V&A waterfront in Cape Town, and they wanted to create an innovation space for companies at the waterfront. And for the people who don't know the waterfront in Cape Town, it's one of the most prestigious locations in South Africa, and it's the most visited place in Africa. And that's per year more visitors than the pyramids in Cairo, in Egypt.
What?
It has
No way.
25 million visitors a year. So we were two startup entrepreneurs in the inner city of Joburg, invited to come and do the same thing in the most visited location, at the foot of Table Mountain, on the harbor. So we pinched ourselves and we said, let's do this. And we started
Yeah.
Workshop 17 at the waterfront together with the V&A, who was our partner, who owns the waterfront, and who wanted to create something of relevance. So not only touristic, but what what relevance can we offer, and can we create
Mhm,
a space where solutions for Africa can be incubated, have a better chance to grow or to come alive. And because it's such a visited space, it's also a kind of a nice meeting point between Africa and the world. Because
mm,
many people from the US or from Europe, when they come to South Africa, they certainly come to Cape Town. They will certainly visit the waterfront. So it's a very open space. There's no doors even. There's a market outside, so we there's lots of people walking by, and it's a very visible place. We did that. We grew there, and um, then the idea was like, this works very well. Can we not create a network of locations,
mhm.
so we can build the community stronger? Um, and that's what we did, and then we grew from there to where we are now.
Amazing. So, I'm fascinated by the 2019 moment where WeWork was about to acquire you guys for around 1 billion rand, and then the deal fell apart, and 2 weeks later, COVID hit. So take me inside that moment, and what did you do next?
Okay, so we were, and I think many of us in the co-working, it's not an easy business to run, and it's not an easy business to make profitable.
No, exactly.
So we knew we needed scale to make a bit of a margin, because we also wanted to keep our prices accessible, especially in a country like South Africa where there's such big divide
Yeah,
between rich and poor. Um, we wanted to be an aspirational place, but an accessible place. So our prices were anyone who's half serious could afford to come in, at least on a part-time basis. And we wanted everyone to feel comfortable, whether you come from a township or whether you come from one of the rich areas, and just meet and be together in one space where everyone feels comfortable. So we needed scale to do that, which we were building. We had, I think, 2019, we were about 5 locations at that point in time. And just before that, I think a year before that, WeWork came into the country in South Africa, and everyone thought, "Oh, now the big people are coming in. The small guys like us, aren't you scared?" I said, "Well, actually not. We need more people to come in to bring this concept to awareness." And us as a small company, we work with their big machine also in marketing and in publications. Also brought much more focus to, like, this is a kind of solution that is not just for startups or for alternatives. This is
right.
actually a solution for everywhere, for a much wider community.
Mhm.
So it helped us, and it helped to put up everything on the market. And we were mentioned in quite a few articles as one of the leading local providers or local operators. So it helped us a little bit. And then WeWork landed successfully here, and they were in preparation of their listing. They just wanted to grow, in their terms, nuclear. That's I remember that term that came. We want to go nuclear, and could we maybe buy you, because you already built these locations. You built 2,000
Mhm.
members. Why can we not integrate you into WeWork? So um, we spoke about that. We said, well, that's fine. Let's discuss it if you're serious. But if your valuation applies to you as you think it applies to you, then it should apply to us in a kind of a similar way, even if we dilute it a little bit. Um,
I like that. I like that. That's a good tactic.
so we were, so we had talks about it, and obviously everyone knows the story about WeWork and the valuation. Whatever everyone can think about it, what they think. Um, but obviously, the valuation was very high. I know my partner and I said, well, look, if that's what they go for, they should treat us in the same way with some discount, because we're
Mhm.
not public. Um, but and if it fails, if they cannot make it happen, then we buy it back at a lower rate later on. But we were in very serious negotiations, very close to a deal. We were waiting for the South African country manager to come in for the final decisions. And then their IPO document came out. And
And that
that's
was it.
obviously got the reaction that it got. Um, and that was the end of the deal. So we were almost
Mm.
wealthy, and then COVID hit. We were almost bankrupt. So it was an interesting roller
Right.
coaster.
Amazing.
Yeah, we had with COVID. I don't know what the situation in different countries are, but in South Africa it was locked up. So COVID entered the country. 2 weeks later, we needed to lock all our doors. No one could
Mm.
come in for 3 months.
Mm. Wow.
Now, in the co-working, we know that we work with flexible contracts. We work um,
Yep.
with a lot of companies that were also struggling. So at that point in time, it was the choice to either go bankrupt, say, well, we can't make it. Because if you're in leases, that what we were at that point in time, and our members couldn't pay or were struggling, you will quickly default. So we had to restructure very, very fast. And we took a principle on. And the principle is a community principle. We actually communicated to all our members, look, COVID's hit. We're all struggling. We want to get through it, and we want you to get through it. If you can pay it and your business and you can pay us and your business doing well, please pay us, because otherwise we won't survive. If you can't pay us, if you're in a contract but you can't pay us, talk to us. We'll make a plan. So we helped the people who couldn't pay. The people who could pay paid us. We went to all our landlords saying, look, if you want us to be there after COVID and you would still want an occupier in your space, you must help us through this. So the principle of let's get through this together, helped us and built a lot of
Yep.
goodwill also in the community, where others said, "Well, if you're in a contract, you need to pay." We said, "Well, if you're in a contract but you're struggling, you don't need to pay if you can't, or you pay a little bit, or you pay.
Mhm.
Let's do whatever we can." And it was very stressful. I won't lie about that, but we went through it with no forced we call it terminations of our staff. We wanted our staff to survive.
Yep.
We wanted the members to survive. Um, and we restructured with the landlords mainly to management agreement contracts, which
Mm.
obviously at that point in time hurt the landlord for the short term. But after
Mhm.
COVID, when co-working and flexible workspaces became much more popular, it worked out well for them. But now sometimes they got more
Mhm.
revenue than they had before in a normal lease.
Yeah.
It gave us a lot of loyalty with our members who said, "Well, if you treat us with disrespect when you're struggling, we'll also stay with you. We'll bring loyalty back." It cemented the community, and I think it's a principle that we live by. It's a principle of care and a principle of reciprocity, and I strongly believe that that is in the long run better for everyone than the principle of this contract or winning or losing.
100%. 100%. I think you absolutely nailed that. Hey guys, just breaking in. You shouldn't have to think about your co-working software. Workspace Geek keeps your operations running with dependable tools and predictable pricing, so your focus stays where it belongs, growing your business and serving your community. Learn more at workspacegeek.com or click the link in the show notes to book a quick call with a member of their team. Your first month is free if you sign up by October 1st. Now, back to the show. And then one of the things I read that you talked about before is losing your soul as you grow, which is interesting. At one point, I was talking with Adam Newman from WeWork, and I was like, "Well, how are you going to scale community?" And he was like, "That's what I'm going to hire you for." And I was like, "That's not the right solution." but,
What did you
but
say?
I'm curious. I said no,
What?
I didn't wanna go work for Adam Newman because I wanted to build my dream, not his.
Mm, mm, yeah, good
Yeah,
point.
and it was a good
Yeah,
call.
yeah, it was.
S
And
so
I think it's
how are you scaling community?
you don't scale community, you nurture culture, and it's
Love that
really
answer.
being authentic and being
Mhm.
personal. So
Yep.
I do believe it's a community is a combination of personal interactions,
Mhm.
and we've we are in hospitality industry as co-working, I think.
Yep.
So our teams are very, very key to it, and it means that the way we run our own company is should mirror what we want to see in the community. We can't have
Mhm.
a strong hierarchical company as Workshop17 with command and control structures and lots of
Yep.
reporting and formalities if we want to facilitate a community in our member base. So we need to
Mhm.
run ourselves basically as a community, and it means being very personal and having a strong culture base and strong values that you work from. Um, and after COVID, we really spent time with all our staff that was still with us at that point in time, about 40 people. We said, "What makes you come to work every day? And what will make your day every day?" And
Mhm.
based on that, we formulated three principles that I still speak about with every new staff that we
Yeah.
hire, and I personally welcome every staff member to Work 17, and share these principles, and also ask them, are we living up to them? Where are we not?
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
so it's about really valuing your culture, but based on principles and not on rules, and
Mhm.
letting people be their authentic selves from the principle. And the principles, I'll tell you very quickly what they are. It's
Mhm.
first one is um, we provide service with a heart. So we're obviously in the service hospitality industry, but you bring your heart in it, which means that we don't have strict uniforms. We don't have lots of protocols. Every location will welcome a new member in a little bit different way because they put their own heart into it and their own personality into it. And the other way to formulate that principle is we create as many beautiful moments in a day as possible for our members, for our colleagues, and for ourselves. Because
Mm.
everything that's important in life, we use the word beautiful. You don't want to come home
Mhm.
and say, "Well, I had a very efficient day." but you want to say something beautiful happened today. And that's
Mhm.
not about the design of the space. That's about like an encounter. That was a beautiful moment. Or someone that touches you, you will say, that was beautiful. So it's that kind of thing. So that's the first one. The second one is everyone owns their job and supports everyone else's. It's principle of responsibility and
Mhm.
support and work together. And the third one is we celebrate and acknowledge. Everyone deserves to be seen. Our members deserve to be seen, and our staff too. And I think there's more to say about these, but a few principles, if you keep them honest and you live them every day, I was actually surprised how they stay, even though you scale quite a bit. Not because you roll something out. You can't roll out culture. It doesn't work like that. But
Mhm.
you can live
Yeah.
within every little moment that you have.
I've heard a lot of people's principles over the years, and this is the best set I've ever heard. They're great. And I find that also with beauty, if you look for it, you'll find it. But if you're not looking for it, you won't find it. And so I love that so much. So thank you for sharing those. Real quick, I want to get to one point. Like we're almost out of time. How does this happen? Okay. Well, I don't know how recent it was actually, but you partnered with Kofisi. Is that how you say it? Kofisi?
Yeah, Kofici.
For 22 spaces across Africa. What's going on there? Are you taking over? Are you going international? Are we gonna find you in London? Will you be a Juicy UK?
Who knows? Who knows? It's So if you look at the landscape in co-working, Africa is very barely um, serviced, and there's a reason I think for that. It's not an easy continent to work with. Africa is not a country; it's a continent. There's different rules, different cultures. It's so diverse. Um, and when we were invited to come to Nairobi, at the same time I met Michael, the founder of Kofisi, who's also a hospitality-led, design-led co-working brand. They're
Mhm.
already in 7 other countries, but we don't have any. They're not in the countries that we are, and we are not in the country that
Mm.
they are. So true to
Yeah,
the
great
co-working
idea.
principle said, well, why us coming to do the same as you do in your country? Why don't we work together? Because Africa is not so easy to unlock. Together,
Mm,
we now are close to 30 locations,
I love
about
it.
10 countries, and that's growing. So then we create so the partnership is very simple. Every Coffeesy member can use Workshop17. Every Workshop17 member can use Coffeesy. International companies can come to us. We can coordinate access for them in these 10 countries,
Mhm.
and it's growing every year. And it's basically unlocking Africa with a high quality design, hospitality led, respectful work environment in a continent that quite soon will have one third of the work, and a continent that has one third of the world's workforce. Most of the young
Yeah,
people are in South. Where do they
yeah.
work? How do we can't let South Africa
Mhm.
be because it's difficult, or Africa be because it's difficult and diverse. We need to unlock it in some way, and working together with Kofisi has been a great journey um, to start doing that, and we're growing from there.
I'm so excited about that, and I'm so excited to bring Juicy to Africa because it is a giant continent of opportunity, and we
Yes.
need that diversity in the world. I mean, that's where it's at, and I think I'm hoping this is the first of many, many Juicy Africas, and that we're able to
Mhm.
learn from you guys and hopefully help you guys grow and thrive because that's what Juicy's all about is helping coworking grow and thrive. That's what we
Yeah.
wanna do, and we wanna help future-proof your business.
Hmm.
Okay, I literally only have time for, like, one more question, but I have so many questions. I'm actually, if you don't mind, I'm gonna go a little over because 'cause I'm fascinated by the digital wallet. So
Okay.
if you can tell our listeners what the digital wallet is, and do you think individual memberships are gonna become obsolete, or is this just a new layer?
Well, it's especially driven by Mark Seftel, my co-founder. We've developed our own software almost since inception. So we're not
Mhm.
a software company, but we've developed a software based on how we evolve and what we see that's needed from our members
Mhm.
and from ourselves as an operator. And one of the elements is quite critical is the internal wallets, so we can create um, internal currencies that work with that people can work. So there's different kind of wallets, and you can grow them. There is base credits, which you can use to do hot desking, book meeting rooms.
Mhm.
So it gives you access to space, which
Yep.
becomes quite interesting. So we have memberships that are not individual, but like a corporate that has offices or just works virtually can have a corporate membership and can decide how many of their staff can use Workshop17 on their
Mm.
account. They can allocate credits to different people. And so we have like a big company of 350 people being on our platform. And those teams work all from home, but sometimes they have a team day that come together and they book it together. The company pays for it. The second wallet is the staff credits, which you can use to buy a lunch, buy your coffees, buy snacks,
Mhm.
anything that you can buy. Um, and those wallets have quite interesting architecture. So in the past, the company would support the restaurant at at their premises so that staff could have lunches there. Now, obviously, we have restaurants and we have cafes in all our locations. So instead of having a restaurant that you need to fit out as a company, you can give your staff daily allowances. So we give our staff a daily allowance um, to get something from the cafe, and they can use it or not. And if they don't use it, it falls away. So you can manage it on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis. So it becomes a very flexible arrangement.
Mhm.
And you can add to that, we're talking about shuttle services, concierge add, added
Mm.
services, have healthcare services, like an online clinic that people can quickly call, they can get your medication from it. So the wallets give you access to a whole lot of convenience where you don't need to
Mhm.
pay. And as a company, decide how much a person should pay individually and how much as a company you provide for your stuff. And the wallets manage
So
all of
smart.
that. Yeah. Yeah.
Very
So
smart. Very
that's
smart.
the yeah.
Okay. I have to ask one final question. Deciding between two. Oh, you know what? I'm going to give you a choice. Here's your first one. If you go back and give yourself one piece of advice before opening Workshop 17, what would it be? Or what's the one thing happening right now in co-working globally, not just Africa, that people aren't paying enough attention to?
Well, I can answer the first one in a very short sentence, and I'll elaborate the
Okay.
second one a little
And
bit.
then you can go to the second. Okay, yay.
I would I would advise myself to not start. It's
Really?
it's tough, but I'm happy I did. So if you would know what it takes to get where we are, I would not have done it, and I'm happy I didn't know it
Really?
because
Okay.
it's the journey. The journey is so worthwhile,
Yep.
but there's much easier ways to build a business, and I have
That's
not many
true.
more left.
That is very true. I have
So
found that.
it's such a rich journey, but it's not for everyone. It's
Yeah,
tough one.
it's hard.
I think
I love it. Okay.
the fact that the element that it's doesn't get enough attention is that co-working shouldn't be only for people with laptops. We should look at
Mm,
all kinds of different professions, and we're looking into some of it at the moment to expand our
nice.
horizon to because it's about sharing scarce resources. So where else can we
Mm,
improve the quality of work, the quality of entrepreneurship, um, and access to building something for yourself or building solutions for the world by sharing, by using what we've learned in the co-work to share resources in a way that gives people access to resources they couldn't afford by themselves. You can think of laboratories, anything with equipment. So I'm not thinking about the fab labs, but think about
mhm,
medical facilities in terms of
mhm,
instead a hospital, for instance, is actually a co-working environment, but it's never seen
mhm,
like so. So I wonder if you look at it with a co-working, how would you make a hospital a much nicer environment than usually hospitals are at the moment? You can think of industry. You can think of anything where you share key resources that you cannot, as an
mhm.
individual, me, don't have to own or shouldn't have to own.
Yeah, yeah. Love it, love it. Paul, thank you so much for this conversation and for your time.
It's a
I
great
can tell
pleasure.
we're gonna be friends for a long time. Like, we're very aligned on so much. And thank you for being so honest about the hard stuff, the WeWork story, the COVID pivot, what it actually takes to lose your soul as you scale and what the real talk of the industry needs more of. And I love that you shared your principles. They were fantastic. And I want everyone to be looking for beautiful moments. It's so beautiful. If you want to dig more into Workshop 17 is building, you can head to workshop17.co.za. And if you're in South Africa, you need to go visit their spaces. From everything I've seen, it seems like
Or
they're doing
Mauritius.
everything right. Yes,
Yeah.
and Mauritius. And that's a wrap for today. I can't wait to meet you in person at Juicy Africa. Thank you so much for your support. And you can also join us in London in October. We'd love to have you there as well. And then we just announced yesterday Miami for Juicy USA for 2027, one of the great cities here.
Oh, wow. So
Yeah.
you're busy, huh?
So
You're building
yeah,
something special.
I
Building something special.
yeah, I am. I'm trying. Well, it's a big world. I got a lot to do.
Mm.
All right, everybody, if you love this episode, please share it with somebody in the co-working world who needs to hear it, like it, and follow us. And we will see you next time. Thanks again, Paul.
Thanks, Liz. See you soon here.
See you soon. Hey, don't go just yet. You need to know about our upcoming events. In September the 16th and 17th, we are going to be in Cape Town doing Juicy Africa for the first time. You can find a link to ticketing in our show notes, but it is africa.juicy.co. And in October, we're going to be back in London at Together for Juicy UK. That's October 8th and 9th. You don't want to miss this one. It's in London and it is fantastic. And you can find those tickets at uk.juicy.co. And I hope you enjoy the podcast.